Today, I want to tell you a really simple but powerful story. It's all about finding a little bit of calm in a world that, let's be honest, feels anything but calm most of the time. It's a parable that kind of walks us through that journey, from a mind that's just full of noise to a single moment of perfect, quiet clarity. You've probably heard this advice a million times, right? Empty your mind. It sounds so simple, so zen. But, have you ever actually tried to do it? It feels completely impossible. Our brains just don't seem to have an off switch. So, how in the world are you supposed to actually do it? Well, before we can even get to a solution, we have to really get what the problem is. And it's something we all feel, that restless, cluttered mind that just will not shut up. This whole problem is perfectly captured in the story of our main character. And this, right here, this is basically the battlefield inside our heads. We get caught in this constant mental tug of war, don't we? On one side, you're replaying old mistakes, thinking about what you should have said, what you should have done. And on the other side, you're completely spun out, worrying about what's coming next. We're basically living everywhere except right here, right now. So this is where we meet our guy, Ipo. Ipo was a young man living in a small village, and he was just completely, totally overwhelmed by the relentless storm happening inside his own head. I mean, just think about how exhausting this must have been. Eppo's mind was just this chaotic place, a never-ending stream of thoughts that left him tired and frustrated all the time. He couldn't find a moment of peace, which of course meant he couldn't really sleep either. And it got so bad, he'd forgotten how to do something as simple as smile. His inner world had just totally taken over his outer one. But even when things feel that desperate, sometimes a little glimmer of hope finds its way in. And for Ipo, that glimmer was the start of a journey that was going to change absolutely everything for him. So Ipo starts hearing these stories, these rumors, about a wise old man living way up in the mountains. The story goes that he used to be this famous psychologist back in the city, but he left all that chaos behind for a simpler life. And now, people who were lost would seek him out, and he'd help them find their way. And that was it. That was the spark Ipo needed. With this sudden burst of determination, he decides he has to make the journey, no matter how hard it is. You gotta understand, this wasn't just some casual trip for him. This was a desperate quest for the one thing he wanted more than anything else in the world: peace. So after days and days of traveling, Eppo finally finds the wise man. But the solution he got wasn't some complicated philosophy or a big lecture. Nope, it was a test. A simple, really strange, and, as it turns out, pretty profound test. The wise man just quietly fills a glass of water right to the very, very brim, hands it to Ipo, and gives him this one single instruction: walk through the whole bustling village and come back without spilling a single drop. Ipo was probably super confused, but he was committed, so he took the glass and accepted the challenge. And let me tell you, this path was anything but peaceful. It was narrow, it was crowded. You had people running around, merchants yelling at the top of their lungs, dogs barking from every direction. It was basically a perfect storm of chaos and distraction, almost like it was designed to make him fail. And this is the whole turning point of the story. In the middle of all that chaos, Ipo saw nothing and he heard nothing. His entire world, his whole focus just shrank down to the shimmering surface of the water in that glass. His mind had one single crystal clear objective. So when Ipo gets back, not a single drop spilled. He's feeling pretty proud of himself, but he's still kind of confused, right? He still doesn't get the lesson. And that's when the wise man was about to reveal the simple secret that had been right there the whole time. The wise man just smiles and asks him, "Hey, did you see the kids playing by the side of the road? Did you hear the merchants yelling, the dogs barking?" And Eppo, kind of surprised, realizes, no, he hadn't noticed any of it. He was totally oblivious. And boom, there it is. That's the secret. See, Ipo didn't try to empty his mind. His mind became empty of all the noise because it was completely full of something else, the present moment. His intense focus on that glass of water literally left no room for old regrets or future worries. And this is really the key takeaway for all of us. Calm isn't an absence of thought. It's the presence of focus. It's what happens when your mind is so locked into what you're doing right now that all the other noise, all the static, just fades into the background. In that instant, everything just clicks for Eppo. The lesson lands, and his journey finally reaches its real destination. But, the story doesn't just end with him. This is where it pivots back to us. This was his big aha moment. He finally realized that peace isn't some destination you have to find out there in the world. It's something that happens right inside you when your attention is anchored firmly in the now. So Ipo walked home, but he was not the same tired, frustrated person who left. He came back carrying a tool, not a magic cure, a simple, powerful tool. He now knew how to find his focus, and by doing that, he knew how to find his quiet. And this brings the whole lesson right back to our doorstep. For Eppo, the glass of water was a task that demanded his complete and total focus. So the question for you is, in your life right now, what is your glass of water?